Alright, welcome back to another Unreal stream where we talk about weapon gun shooting implementation. I think we're in stage 3 of this now, so got quite a lot of things that we've talked about in the past and addressing different problems. But I think today we're going to try and do, like, I think at a stage now where at least hopefully we can move on and do something a little bit different next week. I've done some R&D with what we've currently got. And you know, tried to get the gun aiming working properly, which is what we were trying to do before. So I've carefully implemented something that is at least, you know, I would say a rough phase at this stage, but I think what we can do today is at least cover some of the aspects of it, and we'll see where we go with there. We still have to create some more animations and things. Oh look, my green screen's going a bit crazy. That's awesome. So many things that always go a little bit weird. Let's see if I can knock down some of the color a little bit. Anyways, so what we should do, since I'm not even there yet, let's get ourselves back to the desktop and take a look at what we got. I haven't touched anything from our current project from last week because I want to make sure that we keep it pretty consistent between the videos. But what I'm going to do is try to implement some of the stuff I was working on earlier today. And I can't say I've necessarily gotten it to a perfect degree, but we can definitely talk a lot about the things that I've learned and at least explore maybe some more today of what we can do with it. So, starting off, what we want to do is create a, well, let's review what we did before. So currently what our game is a character that can shoot, play some sound effects. It'd be really cool if that's showing up on the audio. I think it should be. And we can run around and it's playable. And there's our area where our cinematic was playing, which we'll get back to later. But one of the things we were talking about last week was, well, the gun shoots in the right direction, but the aiming doesn't happen right. And I know that this is a pretty common feature for especially like over the shoulder kind of game playing, where you know you have the player kind of reaching out where they're supposed to be aiming. So I was thinking we could do something like that today. Wow, I'm really distracted by my terrible green screen right now. Let me quickly make another little alteration here. See if I can get myself to not look transparent all the time. Oh yes, there is a fine threshold here. And so what I want to do is put a blend space, and last week we were talking about creating a blend space that allowed the player to basically look around different directions with their gun, and it would help them well, it would help visually. Turns out I was creating a blend space, but there's actually an aim space. Whoops, that's not even it. I'm just talking now. There's actually a special blend space node called the aim. What is it called now? Aim offset. So if I right click on my skeletal mesh and we go create, we can do a aim offset, and that's a special type of offset that is a lot like a blend space, but specifically designed for handling exactly what we're doing here. So that was my revelation today, where I knew that this thing existed. I forgot all about it, and I was trying to do it through a blend space. I was realizing how complicated just getting all the math right and everything would be. So I'm really hoping this aim offset, once I get it working fully, is going to help alleviate a lot of that complexity. And so we're going to call it aim offset symmetro, and then gun, I guess, because technically it could be different types of weapons or whatever. I'll throw that into the animation stuff with the rest of them. So this is what we have here. It's like very similar to what we had before, with a blend space. But what we're going to try to do Sorry, I'm just noticing my music is louder than usual, which may have been something I was messing with. It's nice music so far. Is that the animations that we're going to put in, you can just grab one of this anim left and you try to drag it in. It's red, so it won't actually let you put in regular animations. You have to set up these animations specifically for this type of animation type, and it's additive settings need to be switched to mesh space, and a skeleton reference you can, well, it might work with skeleton reference, but they suggest selected animation frame. So we're going to make sure that we, follow some of the rules for the least resistance today, because we're still going to run into problems, I'm sure. And then we're going to use the gun idle aim. Oh shoot, where is it now? Gun aim right, aim left, gun fire, gun idle. There it is, which is the hand straight out pose, and we'll put that in there as that one. So now we go back to our AO system, and we should be able to put the left animation in there now. So we have to do the same thing with the animation right, is switch it to a special type of animation, settings, and make sure we have the gun idle as the base pose. So the next thing, oh yeah, we still gotta put it in. Hope I got that right. So we got left. Oh, look at that arm bend. So when I look at this angle, it's not actually. I never noticed this before. This is supposed to be the pose. The gun idle default base pose. Let me take a look at this gun idle pose here. Why is that not the pose we're looking at right now? This might have been the reason why I was having problems with it here. One thing we get to do today though is create a lot of these other poses to try to build up the whole sequence of variations that'll happen. I'm curious if this wasn't selected frame but skeleton reference pose. Would we get the same issue? Oh yeah, no, we got way different issues. There you go. Definitely wants to be selected animation frame. Oh, I guess we can pick what frame it is. Doesn't matter, it's all the same idle. Good to know though. Uh-oh, where did our player go? Oh boy, what have I done? Off to a great start, as we can see. I still haven't even put up. There's still some of the things I gotta do still. Oh look, he's microscopic now. Gun aim left. What have I done wrong here? Mesh space. Previewing, gun idle. Why did that suddenly become super tiny person? Alright, delete the left, throw it back in again. Oh, we can't put it in anymore. So yeah, clearly something's gone wrong with this left animation here. Mesh space. Selected frame. Let's go to none. animation frame, gun idle. Gun idle looks really tiny. Save. Put the left animation in, it's still red. Does not match existing samples. Alright, well, luckily because we're using source control, I can just go. I'm saying this a little earlier, but I should be able to go here and go source control. Let us revert our changes. We go back to the original, where we should be able to try this again. This time I'm not going to mess with it. Save. Oh, our base pose here is missing. Okay, so yeah, that didn't work either. See, I would think that I'm doing something wrong if it wasn't for the fact that it just worked prior to this. I'm doing a fantastic job of getting stuck immediately. Can't put the aim right in there anymore either. So both of them aren't working properly. Oh yeah, well I can. Aim left isn't matching with aim right. So maybe the issue is with the aim right instead. Okay, let's try it now. There we go. It was the aim right that was broken, not the aim left. Alright, yay. Moving on. So we'll save all this. And what we want to do is go into the animation blueprint and start setting up where we're going to put this in. So we have currently the blend spaces that we did last time. We're going to put in a third one with the gun aim. Sorry, we're going to get rid of this one. We're going to put in another one that's going to be replacing the gun aim, the one that we had there before. It's going to be this special aim offset symmetro thing. And so they have two axes, the vertical and horizontal, like just like a regular blend space, but then there's also the alpha, which allows you to turn it off or blend it off if you want to. So that's cool. And then we're going to put some proper names for that vertical and horizontal, because currently it's just saying value 1, value 2. So we jump back to our aim offset blueprint. We're going to change the names to let's see here, is this pitch or raw? This is horizontal, so that would be yaw, and this would be pitch. And now when we go over here, we should see yaw and pitch over here. And so we're going to throw two variables to it. Or maybe just one. We'll just do aim offset offsets. Not sure if that's the right name for it, but I was going to switch it to a float or a rotator or a vector. I mean, I think I'm going to do rotator. And so when I bring this in here and get it, I can split it into 3 different values. Yeah, definitely the rotator. So we can match up our pitch and yaw together. At least then we're working on the same dialogue. And the nice thing about this aim offset is instead of like the blend space was, it's just like an output, right? But this one converts, because it's additive animations, you're actually taking what already exists and then adding this to it. And so what already exists is going to be the basically what we're going to see from the animation montages. That's what that slot does. So we're going to convert the you know, basically some of the gunfire animations and stuff, just additively put in the aiming on top of that. Or at least that's the theory. So now what we have to do is figure out what our pitch and yaw are going to be. That's going to be communicated here. So I'm going to sorry, having more confusion here with my music. So what I'm going to do is take I need to find what the pitch and yaw are for this. So I'm going to go to event graph and locate a couple values. And this is one of the parts that gets complicated. I've got a little bit of a help screen here that I found, which gave me the information off of a web search. So just to give you a realization, I'm not just making this up as I go. It's basically what we need is the rotation, the controller rotation, and the actor rotation. So one is your rotation for your camera, and one is for the rotation of your character. And together we're going to do a delta, which is combining a rotator for it. So delta combines across these 2 values. So there's some fancy awesome math happening here that saves me from having to figure it out. And then we're going to take that output rotator and break it so that we can split it up into the roll, pitch, yaw. And actually, you know what, we can literally just set this rotator here. And now all we have to do is make sure that that gets triggered, and that's getting triggered on every update animation blueprint action. So every time an animation gets updated, we're going to get an update of where this aim direction needs to be. And so that will send the values to that variable, and then this variable is going to pull it in to the thing. So doing all that, let's see what happens. So as I turn my, oh goodness, it's not working very well at all. Oh, there we go. We are definitely getting, and by there we go, I mean, we're not at all there yet. It's hard to demonstrate what's happening right now, but there is arm movement happening when I rotate my camera. So it's not matching to what's happening at all of the actual action here, but it is consistent regardless of which way the character is aiming. So no matter what, as long as I'm looking from this angle, look at that creepy pose. That's because she's blending her arm down, and so we need to do a little bit of work there to fix that. basically what we need to do is say stop doing the gun aim if you're walking around. But if you're shooting, then use the gun aim because we have got it all calibrated. So this is kind of where I got to before the stream. This is where it gets a little bit crazy. I had some other solutions prior to this that were kind of working as well, but this one is definitely the best one because we're utilizing the proper tools from Unreal, and so it's going to be a bit of a job to sort out all the different nuances, and but we do have to add a lot more poses. So I think what's going to happen going forward in this stream is we're going to spend a bit of time in Maya doing poses. We're going to spend a bit of time here trying to set it up, and we'll see how well it goes. If it's getting really boring and dry, I'm just going to jump over to, as my backup plan, to the cinematic, and we can go back to working on that. I'm also just open to wherever anyone has any questions or anything. I'm noticing there's not many people in the chat right now, so it's like kind of quiet. But if there is somebody who wants to talk about something, feel free to bring it up, and we will, and we can address, any kind of questions you guys have. It doesn't have to be about what I'm doing right now, and also I'm happy to change gears to try something else if anybody has any curious questions. But for me, it would be kind of fun if I can get through this, just have a character that shoots in the direction that they want to shoot, and sort that out. Like I said, I don't have to sort it out on the stream though, but it would be kind of cool to figure out what's going on. Right now I've got a access none trying to read a get player from a certain blueprint here. Which one are we at right now? There. Oh, we're in that stream part there. Execute. Graph. Usually these kind of errors happen when you close the game and it doesn't have any more like actor to pull from. So when it says access none, it's often because like in this case, for example, it's possible that when you close the game, it's destroying things and it destroys the actor before it destroys the controller. But meanwhile, it's still trying to call it or something of that sort. It might be more of like a cast 2 or something. And the cast doesn't work because there's no more object because it's been destroyed. So it causes an error. But based on what it's saying here, it's a get player character function, which is part of it is part of an isValid node. This is a standard macro. It's just crashing inside of this macro during this branch. I don't really, haven't quite isolated where that's coming from. So I'm just going to ignore this error for now. What I'll do is I'll put it in here along that tab. Doesn't keep interrupting my view. And then, so we'll go back to the gun aiming thing. And so there's a couple things to do still, even before we get to the adding more poses. And one of them was when we got to the anim graph, we have this aim with the alpha turning on and off. We should probably enable or disable these blend opportunities based on whether the character is whenever they shoot, it plays the gunfire animation and then it plays through to the end of the montage, which is an idle, and then after it's done it turns the montage off, and then that blends back to its regular idle animations here. So while the character has the gun playing the montage, we should also enable the aim option. But then when the montage is finished, we could either blend this off or we could blend off all this stuff altogether, which at least would potentially remove any other montage information we put in there when the players decide to put the arm down. So we can create some kind of value that will do that. It's we can call a variable like equipped or is equipped, and that would be like our Boolean call that would just say, you know, is the player equipped or not. So spawn effects, that's not what we want to do. Firing weapon, here we go. The mesh, character mesh is firing. Oh, we have is firing. That's coming from our character blueprint. And it's asking, is it firing? If it's true, we do it once. Play montage. On completed, we could set something else up. But on begin, it will play the gunfire shot. So realistically, we should say like we can set is equipped right away to true. Oh, instead of making it a Boolean, let's make it a float, and then we can give it a 1 to 0 value. So we'll change it to a float, which makes it all complicated. Let's try it again. Is equipped, set it to 1, and then when it is completed, we will set it to 0. And then we'll go back here and we'll call it. So we'll say get is equipped, throw that right into the blend, and we'll see if that's how much that's changed. Yeah. Okay, you can definitely tell it snaps because as it goes in, it just basically turns it off all in one go, including the head movement and everything. So that's where you want to like interpolate it to give your blend a better number ratio. So let's try. We're gonna set it to 1 immediately, but let's do an interpolate. There's a lot of these types of curve controls that you can do, and I forget what they're called now. There was another really good one. I don't know if I just used it recently. Setting. What was it called? It was another way to deal with a nice curve. Here we go. F interp ease and out, ease. I think that was what I was trying to think of. So with ease, you can do any type of curve. You can ease and out, but you can also do like exponential in and out, which gives you a different kind of curve. So we're just going to do ease in out. This is much more simple than this float spring witch one. I don't really know exactly how that works. And so our A is going to be, well, A is always going to be 1 because we're basically turning it off. So it was on, we're going to move it to 0. The result is going to be whatever the equip's set to. With the interpolate though, you have to run it like per tick. So not really sure how this is going to function in a in a system. Replace value A to value B using a user specified easing function. I don't know. Whatever. Let's just try it. Alpha blend exponential. Like, how long is it going to take to go from one to the other? That would be based on how often you... There's something seriously wrong about my plan here. It didn't turn it off. I don't know why this isn't making sense in my head right now. This normally made sense. Let's see if I can go rescue my brain here. What I'm looking for is an example, the example that I have of the using the ease function so that I can remember how the heck I used it. Yeah, bear with me for a sec here. Character movement is doing acceleration rate. It blends A, acceleration A to B. I still don't get it. Let's do a print statement. That always helps. It's like, why have I never considered how weird that is? Alright, we're gonna do a print statement and find out what the values are being pasted from here. And we'll see if if the numbers start moving around once the montage finishes. 1. Give value of 1 output. The onCompleted is obviously just being activated once. So let's what are we gonna do? How does this make sense here? We want to like oh, on blend out. Interesting. I got a better idea. How about we say, let's not do that, because it's going to cause some confusion trying to explain what exactly I'm trying to say here. I would have to go and create all these workarounds and do all this stuff. But let's just say we'll do a flip, a direct flip, but instead of flipping and turning off all of this stuff, which already has a nice blend, let's just turn off the aim immediately, and that will be the part that flips. Let's see how that looks. No, unfortunately the head turn is not good enough. So yeah, that sucks. We've got to do a blend that is more interpolating. But I just, for the life of me, can't think of what I'm going to do here. Maybe what I do is I put the interpolate in here. And we put that into there, and this ends up being the value of A. So it goes from Yeah. Still doesn't make any sense. Shoot. It's totally off now. Alright, never mind. It's too complicated. Let's go back to snapping. And I'll have to think of a better way to do ease in, ease out in a situation where I don't have a constant tick happening. Unless I was to like do this whole blend elsewhere, and this is just a boolean that would say on, off, and then when it says off, then we just do ease out on every tick, and then ease in on every tick. But I'm sure there's a clean way to do that, and I'm probably not going to be doing it that way. I'm going to be doing it like a messy, dirty way. So we're not going to do it today. Or at least not right now, because it's not a priority. What we want to do is fix the direction aiming for which way the character is, because right now we've got a different problem, which is why does the character pointing pretty much the opposite direction? Well, one idea I have is it's probably these left and right might not be correct, so I'm going to shuffle them backwards. Hopefully, there we go. So now it's going to go left to right in the opposite way, I hope. And we'll do it again. Okay, so now we're getting much more accurate results, but still not perfect. Oh, I suppose what's happening potentially is we've got left on at 180 degrees, well, at 0 degrees. We got right at 90 degrees, and then this would be like minus in the negative range or something like that. Because currently the values are 0 to 100 on the yaw. So what if it's minus 100 to positive 100, and we'll keep okay, hold on a sec before I jump to that conclusion. Let me check something else out here. Okay, we're getting the same results. So this right is correct, where the arm is outstretched. It's this one is half. It's being used at half. So this is just a theory, by the way. I could actually be going down the wrong path here. This is only at half, and that wasn't even fixing anything because I haven't really changed the numbers. It's still on 0. So, I mean, in theory, if I was really to change it, I would move that over here. Maybe I should try that actually before I get too far in these ideas. So now this is at 50. Yeah, I just fixed it by moving that over. That worked out in my favor. So let's see what happens here. Oh, it happened even sooner. Oh, so maybe I was on the right track after all. Minus 100, and then move this to the edge. There we go, that was the right track. All right, yay, it's working. Yay, I successfully did something today. Time to go home. So I put the left, aim left at minus 100, put the aim right on positive 100 on the yaw. I bet you we're going to have to, it's a very similar situation on the pitch, so I'm going to just already put this at minus 100 here. And like the order of, I mean the direction I'm using, so I guess in theory if you're looking at from the character's perspective, it's pretty close, right? Like you go right, it goes right, left, left from the character's perspective. And that's just using minus 100 or at least 0 to 100, so going upwards. In theory, I could reverse these numbers and that would reverse this process, or, you know, it's like a couple different ways to look at that. But now we still have the broken arm centerpiece, so I don't know. Let me put the gun idle in the middle. Why not, right? That seems logical. Oh yeah, gun idle, I can't do that because it is a, not a, oh, the stupid problem I ran into with the additive blend space mesh. So we're just gonna have to, we could create another pose for the center one that is additive. Maybe that's the reason why it's not working very well. I don't know. But anyway, I think we'll move to the next stage where we start making poses. And this problem right here, I'm gonna try and fix once I got some more poses to work with. And I think I'll actually try exporting the center pose. So sweet, I get to move to the next phase. We're not even in an hour yet. Yay! I'm gonna open up Maya, and we're gonna open up our character rig, and we're gonna start making the up, down, left, right poses. This whole anim blend space thing that came out in 4.9 or something. Like it's been around for a long time in Unreal 4, so it's pretty cool that I'm finally finding a good excuse to use it. And it obviously has a potential to be quite intuitive for the player, because obviously if you're running along, you want to have the character looking where they're shooting. It does look kind of cool, and the head is pointing in the same direction too, so it's got a lot of potential. Oh, also, and I don't have anything to deal with what happens when you're looking backwards, even though the gun is shooting backwards. But, you know, for the most part, you don't even really notice it. I am noticing that the laser is shooting slightly delayed in the world. And apologies for the excessive gun shooting noises. And that might be because our... Well, there's two potential reasons there. Let me take a look first before we get too deep. In the animation blueprint, I think is where we're spawning the VFX for the gunfire. It's just down here. It happens whenever we say gunshot, and then we like spawn an emitter. Is there an option in here to set it to local space or something? Spawn at a location, auto activate system, auto destroy. Like, I feel like it needs to be spawn emitter attached instead, so that it doesn't it inherits the translational data of the attached item, which probably brings up some more issues, but we can just start by talking about it. It's like laser ice and attached to component, so you have to find a component. Then the location of rotation won't probably matter very much because you're keeping relative to the offset. Auto destroy true, pooling method, I have no idea if that's for networking or something. Auto activate, all those settings are the same. So you'd have to get attach point name. Optional named point within the attached component to spawn an emitter. I don't think that's what we're looking for, but you would want to get a socket from the get player character get socket. Looking for a component. So if I just get the base name, not really giving me a component, that's just giving me the word that I'm already using. So that's not it. Oh, here's get socket transform. Yeah, so this is where I have to like do some research and figure out what I'm doing here. Get ember bone, get parent bone, get socket bone name, get bone mass. Yeah, we'd want to like get. Well, I guess in theory, what if you just attach it to the character? Must be object reference is not compatible with scene component object reference. Is that because we have to like cast to ourselves or something? Scene component object reference. Yep, I'll have to do that later. Let's go back to Unreal, or sorry, Maya, and do our poses. So, let's see here, open scene. Shoot. It's always one thing after another. Let's go find this folder. And let's look for character sets, source, characters, Symmetro, pose. Gun hold pose. Hold on, let's also save this, my saved folders here. Gun aim fire is probably what we want here. Okay, so we're loaded up. And we're gonna go to the animation mode here. So here's our, this is the gunfire animation, this is the idle animation, this is the aiming ones, so that we have the same base pose. And I think I created the keys for the rest of the poses. I mean, in terms of spacing for them. So we have left, right. Now we have a neutral ready for the up and down. And in theory, we could do this pose as well. So I'll have to make sure I leave one that's empty so I can do that pose. So this one's going to be up. Try to get the shoulders to go back a little bit. Where is my shoulder? Is this it? There we go. Take a look at it from the top view. Make my music a little louder for the really boring dry air that's happening right now. It's like as I slowly poses. let's say that's your top view. I don't really want to spend a lot of time polishing it because I really don't know yet what kind of challenges I'm going to get into first. Oh, why is my auto key not on? Oh my goodness. Clearly you can tell I just reset my press recently. Because like totally like really basic obvious things are not working out for me here. I was actually trying to solve a prefs issue for someone on Slack, and I was messing around with my settings, trying to come up with a theory. It was actually a pretty good little theory I solved in the end. It was just basically, if you go inside of your prefs file, your prefs file for all your Maya prefs are being stored in like a Maya or a Mel script, so it's very easy to just open that Mel script and like look at everything that's all the commands. And so all I did was just copied a bunch of commands that were like basically had the word hypershade, which is where the problem was. Hypershade. Okay, let me explain this properly here, since I'm talking about it, and I'm probably the only one that's knows what I'm talking about. So you open up the hypershade. Sometimes these windows here get closed, and then you're like, you don't even, maybe did it by accident, and you reopen your hypershade. You're like, oh, what happened to those windows I really need? And in theory, you can come over here and try to find them again. But it would be really nice if there was just a like reset to default, which why do they not have this option in the menus? I have no idea. So anyway, if you go and find the file that your prefs are saved into, which are like documents, Maya, and 2020. So all your prefs are here. This user prefs, it's 156 kilobytes. It's just a giant mel file with a whole bunch of stuff in it. So let's show you what I'm talking about here. No, I can't for some reason. All right. Wow. All right. Well, that was really pointless. Let me open it with a different program. Anything, please. Just let me open it. WordPad? Okay. Alright, so anyway, this is it. It's just a bunch of text. These are all Mel scripts, so you can like just put that right in directly into your tools and run it. Basically in my script editor, here it is, the Mels for that. So I've like I said before, I permanently destroyed my well, not permanently destroyed, but I basically changed my layout to a different interface than the default. If you just copy a bunch of these codes that say it's hypershade, and then you run it, it will reset all those windows in your hypershade so that they still are back in there, which is pretty cool. So then I just took that script that I had in there, and I put it into a button. You can just run that button whenever you feel like it. It'll reset it. Why don't they just have that little option inside of the hypershade? I don't know. Hypershade's been around for at least half a decade, so and if you do searches for this on the internet, you'll see that lots of people are very frustrated by this problem. I should just post my solution on it actually, but I was actually hoping to hear back from anybody on the Slack to see if their thoughts were, in case it only works on my computer or something like that, which is possible. But yeah, maybe I'll go back to those forums and post it, because I know how frustrating it is. I guess the problem is it's kind of a lame fix, to be honest. I mean, you have to go in and find these codes and just run this random script and it'll fix it. But then, maybe version 2021 or version 2019, that script doesn't work. And I'm not going to go around and try and support it all, but at least it points you in the right direction of how to make it work. Anyways, wow, that was a really long-winded answer. So left, up, and then we'll do down. And then there's also like 3/4, but they shouldn't take too long. Now that I got my auto key working. Also getting in touch with some of my fellow old co-workers at Rocksteady, which is kind of fun, over in England. And we're looking for some mentors. So see what we can do. If we can get them interested while they're still working at Rocksteady. They just released, or they're about to release a new game, so Suicide Squad, and I think it'll be pretty interesting to watch or to play because they've been working on that project for a while. So some of the animators that I was recommended were amazing. So I'm like, wow, there's some pretty cool, talented people that are working at Rocksteady right now. So hopefully we'll get some of them on board as casual mentors and they can help us out. All right, that's down. We'll just keep moving ahead. And let's see here. So I'm at exactly 1 hour mark here, and now we're making some progress. Not too bad. It's never completely flawless without some sort of difficult issue that has to be resolved, but kind of the fun, I think. Sometimes you do have to stay focused though with what's important, and is it really important that you've solved this issue? Because often it's like, well, I'm sure there's a better way to deal with this. And it's a good idea to just take a step back and think about it. Don't try to solve it all in one go. If you can't, it's taking a while, because usually the solution you come up with later is always like, oh yeah, I should have thought of that. That's way smarter. For example, today with the offset aims, I was trying to write the whole functionality on my own, and then I was like, oh right, they have a whole node here for exactly this purpose. And sure enough, you hook it up properly and it's like, oh look, it works just like it's supposed to. Brilliant. Alright, I'm gonna do up left, up down left. Pretty sure down left is good. I mean, or up left, I mean. I'm basically just eyeballing the 45 degree. But you know, the nice thing is that these are really easy to tweak, so if I feel like something's not quite accurate, I can come back and go, okay, well, this isn't working as well as I thought it was. Let's go and focus on trying to make this a little bit closer to you know, 45 degrees instead of just me going, looks like it's close. And in theory, the bullet coming out of the gun doesn't have to even match to where this is. It can just go based on what the camera angle is, which I think we may have even had it set up that way. So obviously it would look kind of wrong if you can see that the bullet isn't quite come out of the gun straight, but it's not going to affect the gameplay per se. And there is some interesting like ray tracing that you can do inside of the animation blueprint that lets you like if you want to find out where that bullet is going, you can trace it and then detect what kind of stuff it collides in the down the, you know, ahead of the in the future. Why is that not the right word? Down the road. You can have it set up so that it would say, oh, it's collided with such and such object, and then that's the object that's going to take the damage or spawn the bullet explosion or whatever it is that happens. And that contact point, I'm pretty sure it is, you can access its position fairly accurately so that you get the world, it's positioned on this body so that you get, you know, you can put a explosion right where it hit, which is fun to try. I don't know if I'm going to get to that because it really is getting further and further away from animation or anything art related, which is the risk of what I'm doing here. Not right now, obviously, because I'm actually doing poses. But as you get down this road, it goes further and further into, like, you're not really working on, oh, look at this, I've got these not locked. Wait, what is this? The wrist, yeah. I'm supposed to have these locked already. I don't know why they're not locked still. Break connection. Hopefully that's the right access to lock. Huh. Let me read that again. Set attribute. The attribute anim rig, game ready, elbow, rotate X is from a referenced file. Oh. Right. Well, that is super lame. Well, anyway, breaking the connection at least stops the animation from manipulating it, but it's not that lame because I could just go to the reference file and lock it. Maybe that's why it's, let's just do it. This is the whole point of why you have referenced files. Where was I here? Source, characters. So we're referencing, oops, we're referencing this one into our current animation file, and we just want to make sure that that is utilizing the proper amount of I don't even know what I'm trying to say. What utilizing what? That doesn't make sense. I'm trying to make sure that the channels are properly set up. Alright, so here we are. I want to make sure that only one of the axes are rotatable, so it'd be this one. Ah, it was the Y. Interesting. You think that my whole pose is all rotated wrong. I lock those ones, and that way only Y can rotate. Which, you know, it seems like, why didn't the rigger do that? Yeah, well, a little bit, except for I am also, I mean, sometimes you might want to rotate them things in weird ways, but I find what happens, and I think is what already happened in our situation here, is the you can accidentally twist the, oh, I need to check it out. You can accidentally twist the shoulder, and then your elbow is sideways, and then you start bending your elbow, but it's bending on the wrong axis, and you don't even realize it till it's too late. May have done that, so we may get to understand firsthand how this axis here is not the way an elbow is supposed to bend. All right, I need to get to my Perforce so that I can check out this file. I probably want to check out both this one and the game ready one, because I'm going to want to save the game ready one pretty soon. But first, I'm going to save this. And then now I'm going to save this one now, because just in case something funky happens when I update my reference. But you go reference editor, locate your reference, and you just go reload reference, and you'll see over here it will update magically. It's magic. Wait, hold on. I just like to call myself out on these ones. It usually doesn't work nearly as well as I planned. Hey, it is magic. Yeah, all right. So you notice how the elbow's all broken now. Yay for me for not messing that up for messing that completely up. See, the problem is I've actually undone the animation poses, so I really screwed myself over here. Oh, and there's no more undos.
That sucks.
Okay. Yeah, I've really done a number on myself here. Even though I saved it, I had already broken the animation. But I mean, in theory, if it was broken already, maybe I was screwed. Regardless. So we'll just go to our poses and see what we can do here. A little bit of rotation here. Key that. Okay, there is some subtlety happening here that I've really messed with. Look at it from this angle. Maybe it's okay. Problem is I gotta make sure my first and last frame are matching. So it seems like minus 4.016 is the number we're using for all the loops here. I'm just gonna stick to that. And now we have the aiming poses. Oh, not really. I don't even know what that is. That's a transition to an aiming pose, or is that? Oh yeah, this is the this is the one that's supposed to be here. There we go. That was useful. And now this is this one. That was broken. Okay, that was important that I fixed that. Boom. Okay. We got the upwards one. Straighten that up a bit. Looks good. Downwards. Looks good. Okay, now I'm just sort of locking down keys here. Oh, I want to make sure I use the proper 4.016 for the default pose here so that it matches with the other ones. And I'm going to copy paste that pose so I don't lose it a few more times. But in the meantime, you can see all this wobbly stuff going on. Pretty sure I have it set so that my... Oh, I don't. I have it set to auto. So clamped out. Clamped in. I'm going to grab all of our controllers. Make sure they're all clamped again. So that I get nice clean cut poses between all my poses, which is good. What am I doing here? Oh, this is the one that I was like, this is where it all went wrong. I better save this. Save scene. And then I'm gonna submit this for fun. call it fixing elbow. Adding game poses, work in progress. Oh yeah, keep them checked out so I can keep working on them. Alright, we're back. Look at that. See, this is what I'm talking about. You wouldn't realize it, but that is the actual natural way the elbow is supposed to bend. And so really the rotation is supposed to be over here. And the nice thing about having that all locked in now is because, I mean, with the reference pose, having it locked, is that every other animation that I have that's been referenced using that rig is now also going to be like, got it all locked in, ready to go. I don't have to open up any files or anything. It's funny how when you do like a bunch of real technical stuff, it is nice to get back to animating because it's like when you're animating, you're always making progress. There's no like, ah, shoot, I'm stuck and I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. Seems to be what happens a lot. For me anyways. To be a really brilliant person, I guess. And then it's like, what? It's easy, all that stuff. Okay, well, it's kind of a cool pose. It isn't quite 45. Oh, I should probably fix it though because you'll actually see it from this angle with your mouse. Do that. And then we go back to, okay, so I'm going to copy this pose and make sure that we have a support for more because currently I've got to do more. So middle mouse click, couple frames. Oops, that's not doing middle mouse click. Middle mouse click, a couple frames, hit S. Remember I had to do a couple frames because for some reason the game exporter was ignoring, had to export 2 frames. And so I want to make sure those 2 frames are the same pose. Otherwise it's going to be a really quick little animation or something. Alright, so this is going to be now, we've got, we're missing upper right. Or sorry, their upper left. And probably what I should be doing is sourcing the pose that's close to this instead of rebuilding it from scratch. But I feel like the poses are different enough that probably going to get a benefit of me having to reinvent it again so that I really give it a good thought process instead of just like rotate and then done. But we'll see, that might backfire. I like how you can move the head and rotate it. It really does help with the illusion when it's playing in the game. Okay, how's that? Okay, we'll go with that. And oops. And then we had one that was going to be straight ahead again, just for the fun. And we have a spare one that's our template file that we can work with. So we'll go back to the game export. Well, first of all, let's save it. This game export has crashed Maya before in one of my streams, so make sure we save it first. And then game exporter, it's keeping track of all of our previous exports and frame ranges. So now we just have to remember what we were doing here. Currently 57, 58 are aim right, and then we've got gun aim up for 59, 60. And then we've got gun aim down for 61 and 62. Oops. All right, here we go. Gun aim up, right, upright for 63 and 64. And we have gun aim down right for 65, 66. It's kind of boring to watch, I bet. Gun aim down left. Hopefully I've got my left to rights right. Hey Sean, you're here. All right, welcome. I definitely spent an hour and 20 minutes talking to myself. It's nice to have somebody else to talk to you. It's great. How you doing, Sean? $67, $68 down left, and then we've got good. How about you? I'm doing good. I finished all. I mean, I've got the aiming implemented to a degree where it looks kind of like it's correct. Turns out it was a lot easier. Well, it just wasn't that easy, but it was a lot easier than what I was proposing it was going to be last week. Which is good. But otherwise, I am just kind of looking at what I'm going to do next. Haven't really thought too much about it yet, though. I was actually, before I started my stream, I didn't quite know if I was going to get the aiming to work or not. So I was a bit nervous. Actually, quite nervous, because even before the stream, I was like, okay. I put about like an hour and a half or so into it, researching it, but I was still like not totally confident I know what I'm doing right now. But it turns out it wasn't that hard. Okay, so we've got up, left. Oh, let me just double check that gun left on 55 is the same left. Yes, it is. Good. We've got a bunch more exports here, and we're going to put them into Unreal and see what it looks like on the new aim offset blend space that we were working on. What else do I have to do? Is everything good? We got export selection. Now I think we have a selection set now, don't we? Yes. Audio animation export. Okay, let's do it. Got any new animations for us today, Sean? Yeah, it's coming together. It's got some nice poses, I guess. I'll show you what it looks like when it's in the game. We're doing the posing's fun because it's like, oh look, it's pretty, and then you do it in the game and you're like, oh look, I totally doesn't look like I wanted it to. So it's the constant battle. I think it's still exporting. Yeah, I'll show you what we got currently while it's exporting. So when I look left, it looks left. I aim right, it aims right. Doesn't really know what to do after you go too far, and the gun still fires off in the backwards. So I'm not sure how to deal with that. When you're running, it still blends. It's aiming in the direction that you're shooting. There's this issue where the VFX is slightly behind, and that's. I was trying to look at how to solve that, but then I kind of gave up. Because it's going to require a component that I don't know how to find yet, so I was like, let's do posing, it's more fun. Okay, I think the exporting is finished now. So let's try and get this stuff in there. How come we don't have all the poses? Oh no, upright. Oh, it's still exporting. That one just happened. So it's only up to upright so far. I guess I could import these ones. Try to do the right skeletal mesh. And import and overwrite existing animations. Oh, yeah, there's a very interesting thing about the animations we have to do. Huh. That's not good. Alright, so we got down. Is down the only one that went through? So you can see our aim left, we have mesh space and selected animation, but if we look at aim down, it's not anywhere near that. We have to switch it from no additive to mesh space, and then we have to switch this to selected animation frame, and then we have to switch this to gun idle, which I'm considering maybe switching that to a different thing. But anyway, that was one of the new steps. And then we have this new AO gun, Symmetro gun, which is our it's our new blend space animation, or offset. Animation offset. This isn't it. Yes, it is. What the heck is it called? Why am I having so much trouble remembering what it's called? Create aim offset. That's what it is, not animation offset. Aim offset, specifically designed for exactly what we needed it to do. So currently it's just a blend space that does this, but meanwhile it's doing some fancy correction math in between, which is awesome. And so, for example, now we got pitch and yaw here. Now we've got the aim down, so I'll put that down here. But I wouldn't have been able to drag it down here if I hadn't have carefully switched all those features from aim down so that it was doing mesh space and animation selected and everything. So kind of important. And then we got aim down, and oh yeah, and then we got this broken arm effect, which I was acknowledging, hoping that that's going to get fixed when we put in the default pose that we got, because that's looking kind of crazy. And the double gun thing isn't really an issue. So we do have like the conversion between the 3/4, but if we put in our own pose, then it will allow for that to aim correctly as it goes from this pose to that pose. We'll have a nice elbow bend and everything. Let's see where we're at. See if we have to import some more animations. Oh yeah, so some of the animations didn't import properly. Import failed. That's it, that's all you got. Okay, well that's not very helpful to me. See how the exporting's doing. This is the game ready rig. I don't need to have that open anymore. Is it done now? Oh yeah, export successful. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense why one of them would work and all the other ones wouldn't work, so kind of suspicious. Let's just make sure that here's all our animations now. They're all the same size. They all should import. There's no reason why they won't import. Gun aim down, do you want to overwrite it? Oh, it did already show up in the scene, apparently. Gun down, aim forward. Yes. Aim right, yes to all. Fail to import gun aim up. Fail to create asset. Why? Okay. Fail to create up left. Up right. For some reason the up ones I can't do. Oh, but if I do it individually, it works fine. Weird. Cool. Now it worked. Alright, so back to what we were doing before. Aim gun down. It's got mesh space. We did that already. Down left. Mesh space. Animation frame of... Oh, let's see if I can do... Forward. Ah, yes, I can. Mesh space. Frame. Forward. Mesh space. Frame. Forward. Oh, actually, I think you're... Well, it's a frame, right? So, yeah, forward's okay. In the actual aim offset node, there's a base preview mesh, and I'm putting the idle in there because it's got that breathing idle that's happening. And so that's how happening on top of all the offsets. So you have a turn, but then it still breathes, which is pretty good. But that's just a preview base mesh, so I'm not really sure how that works in terms of the full thing. Yeah, a little bit of subtlety. All right, let's go back to the base mesh. Sorry, the mesh space. Mesh space. Forward. Mesh space. Forward. All right. Try dragging these guys in here. Start with the forward in the middle. Oh yeah, that made sense. Mesh space. I had this problem too. Maybe it's because of the animation pose. So yeah, this happened last time, the first time I tried it. All of a sudden I found out that everything I was doing, the character was super shrunk into a tiny ball. Maybe it was related to this. There we go. That seemed to be the case. Oh, and the forward did not drag in properly. Or it did, but it overwrote it. Alright. Not really sure what's happening right now. Anyway, the arm looks pretty clean now. So yay, that's good. That was a little bit of a warping bend. I'm not even sure, like, those must be the twist joints that are rotating. So I'm not really sure what the math is behind the scenes that are making this blend work. But if it's like taking the orientation of all the joints and moving them and rotating them, and then it's going to have this curvature on the twist joints, I guess. I know it's pretty unusual to have twist joints right along the bone chain like that for a game rig. This might be one of the consequences. Anyways, let's try it out. Let's keep going with the list here. We go aim. We got aim left already. Aim up, left. This is left, and up, right. And we got down, right. And down, left. I forgot one more. Where's up? We never did up. Up. All right, and we'll go back to aim up. Oh yeah, I gotta set it all up still. See if we can do this forward still. Not totally confident that that is the best solution yet. Alright, so we got them all in there, and then we just do the idle as our base preview so we can see it. For whatever reason you have to do it that way. So we got up, over. That looks kind of cool. Something about this doesn't quite fit right for some reason. Not too bad. Our interpolation is very fast. If we put like 0.2 instead, we would get a bit of a delay. The aim, and then it's like, whoa, we're getting there. Seems a little bit smoother now. You put it at like 2 seconds of interpolation, then we're gonna be like, oh, you gotta aim over here. Hey, aim over here. Oh wait, oh, I got it backwards. It's like it takes forever to get to the spot. This would be like if you're driving a tank. Alright, let's not do that. 0.2 is pretty good. Let's try that one instead. Save all. See what it's like. Yeah, so you can kind of see that there's a bit of a slight hesitation. Look at that, it does all the upwards right away. I don't have to do anything. Just knows what to do. Keep shooting because otherwise she puts the gun away. That actually looks a bit awkward now. It's like the elbows, kind of the arm is tucked in and then it goes and that looks really hard to hold something like that. But I guess if you're running, oh, and then that kind of does the same thing, doesn't it? Hey, where's our up? Uh-oh, can't do an up. Oh, I see, up has to be this way. It's kind of cool. Kind of cool. So what am I doing now? Oh yeah, I was gonna fix the arm a little bit. On that pose in particular, in fact. Like, this actually might make more sense if you're running, so let me just see what it would look here. So if you're running, gotta get the elbow up. And then we compare that with... Bring the elbow down. Oh yeah, but how do you see what you're shooting at? Alright, let's try this. We pull the arm back. Get more bend here. Heck yeah! Let's see if we can... That in there. A little tighter to the body. Guess I just gotta pull that shoulder back. Does look cooler. So that would be the alternative here. And we gotta pull the shoulder back, pull the elbow back. Rotate that in. Whoa, rotated the whole body there. This is like, hopefully the gun doesn't make a lot of noise for the person. It's like, ow, my ears. Why am I putting it so close to my ears? Right, 2 have headphones. Awesome. It's totally fine. Alright, I think I gotta aim it a little higher. I gotta get that 3/4 angle here. Trying to keep that wrist fairly straight to the forearm. always makes it look a lot stronger if you don't have that bend in the forearm. Or in the wrist, I mean. Looks... Yeah, you don't want to bend in your forearm. Alright, let's try that one. So basically, up, left, and left have changed. The rest of them have been the same. So let's go back to the exporter. Let's save it. Let's be the common theme here. And then we'll export it. It's just those two animations. Oh shoot, what's the left? This is 69, so 69 is up left. We also want left. That one. Alright, let's do it. I don't really have a lot of need to submit these FBX files into Perforce or my source control because you really only need them for that temporary transfer. And if you ever wanted to export, you can always export these animations back out of Unreal. So like if you ever needed those FBX, they always are available from either Unreal or Maya once you've got them imported. So it doesn't really matter that they get deleted or anything. Man, what am I going to do after this? Oh, it's 8:46 or 46 to the hour of whatever time zone you might be in. I have to somehow fill in a bit more time if this is working. Of course, I shouldn't assume it's going to work because it never does usually. Gun aim left and gun aim up left. Re-import. Save all. There's our gun left. It should just already work. Let's just try it out. Looks cool. That makes sense. It's a pretty heavy gun, so you wouldn't really want to hold it out too far anyways. Of course you are when you're running. You're like, ugh. That's hard. That's a difficult muscle to hold things. Cool, let's go play it. Does seem really close to the face. It's kind of cool. I mean, I'm kind of not that upset about it, but at the same time, I'm like, it does look like it's cutting through her face, even though I technically shouldn't be. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna leave it with that. I mean, in terms of where it's at right now. I might... Alright. I gotta think of what we're gonna do next anyways. So let's talk about that. We got 10 minutes to sort of discuss and figure out what I'm gonna do. It is kind of cool that we got the shooting working though. I mean, I must admit, I didn't bet a lot of money that I was gonna get it to work. Let me submit this. It's gonna John Wick, everyone. I like that. We should use that as motivation. Adding gun aiming offsets with poses. So yeah, I have a feeling what we're gonna do next week is get the cinematic going again. Because like this is good enough to kind of, you know, parlay into the next thing. So we go from cinematic to gunfire and it looks cool and we can't really say that anything's too off, except for the gunfire is just not quite synced up perfectly. Like the fact that if you look behind the player, they don't shoot in that direction properly. I mean, that's, I could in theory like restrict the viewer from looking that way. I don't know, that would actually not probably work out very well. Well, I don't know, let me think about that for a sec. Because you would be like, I can only look this far, I can only look this far, and then you're like, well, if I want to turn around and I just run this way, oh, but then that'll force my camera to have to be this way. Yeah, that doesn't probably work as well as it sounds. Or the other alternative is, why don't we make some poses that reach backwards more so that we do the 360? Definitely is a bit difficult from this angle. Like, how do you reach over there without looking really dumb? So there's like a range of about 45 degrees that would be like really hard to reach. And there's even the Unreal documentation. I'll just pull it up. Has the same sort of visuals. Pretty sure I still have it open here. Oh man, okay, I guess I don't. Anyway, there's from 4.9. It's like documentation from forever ago. I wonder if I can find the link that I used to get there. Here it is. Aim offset. It's this guy. He's part of the... He was one of their demo characters from earlier versions. This is all like using NVIDIA physics cloth dynamics before they implemented their new cloth system. Anyway, here's all our little poses they put in there. This is two-handed weapon holding. But this character can do like the crazy twist to do those extra angles, which looks ridiculous. It looks like a coder made it. So I definitely don't want to do that. But they've done like centered left behind, centered left behind down. Like honestly, I just can't realistically see somebody like firing a gun behind them and not be like, ah, my back. Put my back out. So I feel like there has to be some sort of limitation or something for our character. And this is like, do you want to mess with this, or is this really a coder issue? I'm not really sure. In theory, you could put the poses in and then just restrict the amount of blend that can go that direction. So you just can't shoot that way. Or you make the gun fire based on where your gun is aiming. Oh, geez, I hadn't even thought of that idea. So what if you just make it so that the gunfire truly is where the gun is aiming? And that way you can't actually do this because the gun is still shooting left. So if you do want to shoot this way, then you gotta go like this. And it would work. And the only problem is you'd have a little bit of delay with your shooting, which, you know, a coder would, game designer would pull their hair out because you decided to put a delay on your aiming. which just looks cool, but doesn't work great for games. Actually, if you keep shooting, it does actually lock in pretty close. It's only when you're just, I don't even know if I can reproduce it now. Oh, it's only if I'm standing. If I'm running. Wow, that's really disorienting. But if you're running, it seems to override it. Anyway, so what if we just do that instead? That's a nice quick fix. That way you can't ever do this where you're shooting behind you. You'd be still shooting sideways. And, you know, the mercy or the emphasis is really just based on what the player or what the animator has posed it to. I almost have time to implement that, actually. Let's go back to the animation blueprint. And it was VFX, spawn VFX. I mean, we haven't even really implemented any kind of gunfire stuff, but you know, there's no point in trying to implement that if we haven't actually got anything to shoot yet. Spawn SFX, VFX. So here we're spawning emitter at location using the rotation of the player controller. But we probably should be using the rotation of the socket. That was the difference. So that's it. Boom, fixed. And let's play it and see. There we go. Now it's shooting in the direction the gun is supposed to be shooting. I mean, yeah. So you just got to make sure that it's actually pretty cool. Now we still have the problem where the VFX happens just after the location, so that was another issue I was gonna start addressing, and then I realized it was pretty complex. But we're doing spawn emitter at location, and we could also do spawn emitter attached, and I feel like if we can come up with where the attached component is, we would be able to like, it would inherit the positional translation of the body instead of just being in the world all the time. I tried to connect like various elements here, but we need a scene component object reference. Unless, I don't know, unless you can just pull from here and say spawn. Now, spawn act. No. There's also, what is it? Player pawn is, where is it here? Get pawn owner. Spawn. Emitter. Get character. Okay, root component. We have this cast to character. Spawn AI, spawn, nope. Let's get the character. There's a lot of stuff here. Get character mesh. Character, oh, capsule component. No, shoot, get mesh. And then we say spawn sound, spawn emitter attached. Here we go. There we go, that's what we wanted. Alright, so we got to cast to the mesh apparently. Or the, this is running from gunshot. Okay, so I definitely need to do this again. Need to create some space. This is going to come through here. The object is going to be this guy who's always here. And then we're going to continue doing the valid check so that we can have the mesh up to date. We're going to throw that into our emitter, attach the component. So I already got the laser beam attached. We're gonna use the location of the gun barrel socket, so this actually is still appropriate. So I can probably get rid of that now. We'll pop that in there instead. We'll see if this works before the stream is over. File, save, oh shoot. Oh, destroy this guy. Actually, it says auto destroy, so not sure why we have to do that. Oh, I know why. Because we wanted to do it after a delay. Otherwise, it just hangs out for a really long time. Infinitely, in fact. It would auto destroy after it's finished playing, but it never finishes playing. Ugh. Ooh. There must be a difference between the positional space of it. Like, I'm getting the transform, and now it's probably looking for like, yeah, let's just do 0, and we should see it spawn at the feet of the character or something. There we go. So what we need to do is find out what the, oh, here we go. We want the actor. Put these back on again. Component. Let's try that one. Hey, there we go. All right, let's see the test. Hey, look at that. It doesn't fall behind anymore. Nice. We've made a fix again. Looks like I keep shooting really high in the sky. So I really have to make sure my morphs or my socket is aiming the right direction and my poses are aiming the right direction, all that stuff. A little bit of fine tweak in there still. But I think we got that working pretty good. And it's past the hour, which is awesome, so that I've managed to fill up my time very carefully. So I guess I'll wrap it up there. I'll save what we got there, but I think next week hey, Sean. Says, there you go. What we're gonna do next week is work on that cinematic some more. Thanks for showing up to the stream, Sean. Appreciate that that you managed to catch it at the end there. I was a bit nervous before I started my stream, so I wasn't really sure what I was going to cover. I didn't really do any posts or anything. But I think next week we're going to do cinematics, which is a lot of people enjoy, and we'll just continue polishing that. And it's no worries. It's sometimes tough to get these streams. They are recorded though, and I tried to do a good job in the first half of it. Make sure that it's a quality stream to watch over. And but yeah, let me know if you have anything else you wanted me to take a look at in terms of where you want this stream to go next week. It might be kind of fun to try something a little bit different, but otherwise I'm going to default on the polish the cinematic, which is kind of fun for me to do and a lot less stressful, and we can have some fun talking about questions or issues or doing anything we want to do. All right, so I'll leave it there. Thanks again for showing up, Sean, and I will see you guys next week. See ya.